Alright guys, here's a nice example of how to blunder like a boss and what to do in response to your blunder. Okay, so this is a load of fun. Just random challenge. We have the Caro-Kann. I play d4. I've got the white pieces and fantasy variation. And now c5. Don't know what to do in this position. I need to check this out. It is actually a free pawn, but it's almost like a kind of a queen's gambit here with some extra stuff, right? But black playing the queen's gambit. So I just push c3. I figure this is not a bad thing. Blocks off the diagonal to the king. If he wants to take, I can take back. And we're almost getting into like a French advanced variation as well. Knight comes out. I bring out my bishop. Figure bringing out my bishop to here with the pin just doesn't have any teeth. It's just going to invite black to block with his bishop and get it off the back line. So there's no point in that. And I also figured that if he wanted to push the c pawn, that would be good for me. I'll just retreat the bishop here. And my bishop's still lining up with h7, but his pawn has now become, well, it's no longer challenging for the center anyway. So anyway, so he decides to capture. Good spot by my opponent. Takes, and knight takes, because what I'd done with this bishop move is blocked one of the defenders of my pawn. Okay, so he takes, and now I play queen to b4, a4, sorry, check. With check on the king, also hitting the knight. Whenever the f pawn is gone, you need to be looking out for this move. Doesn't matter which side of the board you're on. You can do it in attack, but look out for it in defense as well. Okay, not the f pawn, c pawn, sorry. Okay, so the knight comes back now to block, which is to be expected. Now pawn takes. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm thinking if queen takes here, maybe this would work. Bishop to e4, hitting the queen, but also through the queen. If the queen has to move because it's skewered, I've got two attackers on the knight, and it might only be defended by one pawn, right? So queen takes anyway, bishop e4, queen has to move. Now the queen should really stay somewhere where it defends this knight, so one of these squares could have been fine. Move to here, so oh yeah, of course, yeah, it's pinning the bishop against the king, so I can't capture the knight, so I block the pin by playing knight e2, which is fine. Now I take the knight. Bishop now blocks. Okay, so I've just taken a piece. He doesn't recapture, because if he recaptures, he's going to lose the rook, because king and rook are both under attack. King's going to have to move here or block with the bishop, but either way, queen's going to take the rook. So he blocks with the bishop. I capture the bishop, knight recaptures. I'm now a piece up for a pawn, and I'm feeling pretty good, you know? Like, I've got this. I'm bossing this. This is fine. Okay. So now I slip into that issue where you find yourself thinking only about your ideas, and you totally ignore the fact I play two absolutely awful grade A pure filter dumbass moves in succession. Here's move number one. Bishop to f4. I'm only thinking forwards, right? I'm only looking forwards. I'm not watching my back. I'm thinking, let's attack the queen and just be aggressive and all that kind of good stuff, right? Shouldn't have done that at all. Queen takes b2, right? And now I figure that knight b to c3 is the move, because I'm kind of trapping the queen. Almost. It's like queen can't go on the back rank, can't go there, can't take that, can't go to all of these places, right? I've got it all covered, but my rook was hanging. What a wooden top move. I mean, seriously. And I'm meant to be 1500. Crikey. Anyway, so absolute dumbass move. And the weird thing is I've done that twice in a week. The exact same thing. Just kind of assuming that because my rook was on the back rank it was protected. and I hadn't castled, right? So anyway, I'm in check. I block it with the knight. He now pushes with the pawn, and I'm thinking, oh, I'd love to play like bishop onto this diagonal, hitting the rook and the queen. That'd be great, but I just can't. The bishop can't go there because the knight's covering it, and he's about to play this anyway. So anyway, castles, correct move, I think. Bishop comes out. Now I can't play my knight to here because it's actually attacked twice on that square. So I play it anyway. Yeah, and why black doesn't capture it, I have no idea. Right, I mean, this is, I need to stop playing chess today if I'm going to play like this. Anyway, queen to b2 for some, why doesn't he capture that? Oh, because I take his queen. So I can play it because it comes with a discovered attack on the queen. Yes, on yours, smart. Okay, queen now moves to b2, getting out of the way of the attack. And now rook to d1, and I'm lining up attacker number 2 against this knight. There's no rocket science going on here, guys. This is chess basics. The knight is pinned, by the way. Knight is still pinned on the king. Black hasn't yet castled. Rook now to d8. Is this enough? Because I have bishop c7. Attacker the rooka. Okay, and the rook can't move because queen there, check. King has to go there. I grab the rook. Checkmate. It's all over, right? So the rook can't move. So here's the castle. So I grab the rook, okay? And now I'm just 2 pawns down. Okay, I've got a rook back. But I have these paired knights. Now sometimes having knights paired like this so they're actually defending each other isn't ideal because one of the squares that this knight is potentially covering is occupied by a white piece and vice versa, right? 2 knights side by side, that's a different matter. 2 knights side by side, just check out the number of squares that they, so if this knight was on here, right? Look at, let's do these in blue, yeah? Look at that. Boom. They are covering an awful lot of space if you can do it safely. However, the advantage to this is I can forget about these knights because they've got each other's back. Alright, so, but I still have rook and queen looking at the knight. So rook takes knight, rook takes rook, queen takes. Okay, and now I'm a minor piece up. And now, black thinks, haha, I have you. Innit, right? Check this out. Bishop takes knight. And I'm like, oh no, I was just got back in the game and now I've like blundered. But have I? Have I indeed? Okay, what is the right move now for white? My knight on here was defended only by its brother. Okay? However, maybe I can add another defender to the knight that's just disappeared off the board. What? What are you talking about, Hunt? You nutter. Queen c8. Boom. Check. Yeah? And a hit of the bishop. King moves. Only move. Queen takes bishop. Ha ha ha. And we trade queens. Now we're in an ending, boys and girls. We are in an ending. And this is a proper ending. We have 4 on 3 on that side of the board. We have... What other colours have I got? Is that orange? Nah, it's not even orange, is it? Anyway, that's orange. Cool. Anyway, 4 on 3 on the king side. 2 on 1 on the queen side, right? But white has an extra knight. Okay, so we'll fly through this a little bit. So, first things first, mobilise your stupid king, right? You're in an ending. Get your king in the centre of the board, right? This is something I did right. Now his king starts to come in. I push a4. We have some pawn stuff. Now, key point. Key position in this game. So I just pushed this, right? Kind of hoping that he'd trade off. Trade off and we have an impasse on this side, right? Because he can't advance. He's got an extra pawn, but he can't advance it because I'll grab it and you know, run home. So, what do we do? But he advances, okay? Now at this point, I figure out that I can probably convert a pawn before black does if I capture. Pawn takes. So I've just traded off my knight for 2 pawns, which means we each have 4 pawns on the board. Right? Now, interesting thing is I've got 3 pawns ready to embark or break through right into black's territory. Black only has 1 pawn on his 4th rank, the other 2 are on 3rd and 2nd. Okay? So my pawns are further advanced than black's pawns. So he moves his king, and we just bash out these moves. Right? I have to capture there, king takes, and now he is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps away from promotion. Okay? I am further, but although it's white's turn. Okay, so white goes here, and we have a foot race. And who converts first? Black converts first. But check this out, right? We have a 2-on-1 now on the king side. My king is on the king side. So if we can trade off queens, it's a romp home for white. Easy victory for white. Now, what you have to be focused on in these situations is checks. Okay, now, what checks does black have? Right, this pawn can't move, that king can't check anything, right? Kings can't check. Now, he's got 1 check here. Queen to there, check, right? What do? I block with my queen, right? Even better if he goes here to b1 check, I block with my queen, and look, I'm attacking his queen and attacking his king. He has to exchange queens, and then I simply win, right? So he hasn't got a check, so he comes after my pawn. Not even bothered, right? Throw in a check, throw in another check. Now queen's defending pawn, okay? So this surely now is going to be a win, one way or the other. I'm going to be able to grab this pawn. I could grab this pawn at any time. I decide to throw in another check. And one thing I need to be careful about here is draw by repetition. I don't want to get into that situation. So after the king moves here now, I grab the pawn. I've just got to change the board. You can't have the same exact position 3 times, okay? So, throws in a check, block. Now he can't exchange queens. So he goes here. Doesn't matter. Put my queen back to there. Queen back to here now, and I move my king. All right, don't want to get repetition. Now queen to here, big mistake. Now he's got less than 2 minutes on the clock now, my opponent. So what's the correct move now for white? Based on what we've said already. Queen f5. Okay, I'm blocking the check, but I'm also checking black right back at you, black. And it's going to force an exchange of queens, and then Harry the H-pawn, just easy run for the line, and it's going to be all over. So there you go. I mean, lots of fun, lots and lots of fun. Complete wooden top doll's head moment there from me, or 2 at least doll's head moments, where I just gave away material by simply just being blinkered. I've got no excuse, you know. It's just, I thought, oh, I had it in the bag, the game will play itself. It doesn't play itself. You have to play it. You have to look after your defense as well as thinking about attacking and winning, because you can't win a game of chess if you get checkmated first. I don't know how many times I've said that. One of these days it's going to sink in. Anyway, I won, so hooray. But there you go. We're all fallible. So next time you're playing somebody rated 1500, just wait for him to cock up like a complete jellyhead, because it will happen. No, don't you worry. All right, there you go. Thought I just wanted to share that with you. Bit of fun. I know people like to see it when I completely screw up. So if that's you, just made your day. Okay, thanks for watching, and I'll see you very soon.